You have lied. You have directly lied. The numbers show, the actual revised FBI numbers show that crime increased from 2021 to 2022, and it's increased from 2021 to 2023 as well. You have lied.
Why don't we go ahead and talk about some actual facts, right? You said crime is rampant. Where are you seeing that? I don't see that. The FBI statistics show that crime is not rampant. It's down. Is it up?
Yes.
All right, let's focus on that. Let's hand it
Yeah,
over to
let's
Rob.
do it back and forth instead of just along. I'm cool with that. Great question. Are crime statistics up? First, we see a concession from our opponents that the record of Donald Trump was superior with the economy, with immigration, and with foreign policy.
Not true.
That is
Not
true.
true.
Now what they're doing is saying the experts predict things will be bad. I just want to take a moment to say that the experts also predicted that Trump would collapse the stock market and the economy if he was elected in 2016. They were incorrect.
They predicted
the
that
experts,
with the steel tariffs.
please,
and it
the
worked.
experts,
150,000 jobs lost.
Please, we were quiet. Well, so I understand the back and forth's good, but the constant interruption won't work so well. So they also predicted that the economy.
Keep people on a
Right. You're lying. Did they? Yes or no?
Let's just continue then in our own space for a little bit till we get to a flow. So, Rob, the floor is yours.
Sure. Experts such as Paul Krugman, that are award-winning economists, predicted the economy would crash under Donald Trump. They were wrong. They also, these same experts, predicted that the economy would do fantastic under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They were wrong. They said that inflation would be transitory. They were wrong. They said that their economy would be better for the American people. They were wrong. They're wrong in all of that. And now they're saying this time, but trust us this time, we're right. We don't have to guess what the experts will say that have been wrong over and over again when it comes to the economy, when it comes to immigration, when it comes to foreign policy, because we actually have the records of Harris, who admitted she wouldn't have done anything different than Biden, and Trump. So again, once more, they'll gaslight you that the records say this. He asked specifically about crime. Yes, it's true that the FBI tries to manipulate the statistics in order to say that crime's gone down. We see that they've recently just had to change so that when the moderators in ABC said crime had fallen every year, that actually wasn't true. In 1 year, it went up. The crime was up under Donald Trump in 2020, largely because Democrats decided they would take to the streets during COVID when the rest of us were told they had to lock down and have mass crime waves across this country, which did lead to increased crime. Yes, we know that Democrat foot soldiers will engage in riots and crimes all across this country if they don't get their way. I understand that you want to put clever graphics up while I'm speaking. I don't think that I'd be talking about gish galloping for someone who gave an opening statement was just a poem that they had pre-written that made no arguments whatsoever. Anyways, when we're looking at the crime statistics from the FBI,
give them a chance to respond.
When we're looking at the crime statistics from the FBI, we can see that they've been manipulated, and we can see if we use better metrics like the National Crime Victimization Survey that doesn't just deal with reported crimes that the police dealt with, but actually people that are saying they were victim of crimes. Those numbers have precipitously gone up every year since Harris Biden have been in office.
All right, let's pass the ball back to First Amender. Go ahead.
Yeah, wow, that was a lot of gish galloping. Yeah, so I'm going to ask you again. Was the FBI, I'm just curious, right? Because I looked at the FBI crime statistics. Is crime up or down under Biden?
I just repeated. I'll repeat my answer. So first, we can see that the FBI manipulates the statistics, as we've already seen that.
So the FBI's bullshit, right?
That's part of what I'm saying. We saw, yes or no? Did the FBI recently change their number?
I can't
real quick,
FBI.
I answered your question. I answered your question.
Who do I go to?
What's that?
Who do I go to if I can't trust the FBI statistics?
Why don't you answer the yes/no question that I asked you, and then you answer the
yes or no question?
Just 1 second. First Amender.
Right. The yes/no question that I asked you was: will you admit that the FBI just recently changed the numbers that showed that crime actually did increase in 2022?
All right.
What?
We'll let you.
Will you admit that the FBI just recently
FBI change the number?
So actually,
why would they change the
for
numbers?
sure, guys.
Great
We're gonna let
question.
Classy in here. Classy's he's been holding on and listening. So go ahead, there, Classy.
So crime is down. They did change sort of the method to how they get statistics though. I think I know the source where you get it from. I think you're getting it from the Crime Prevention Center. I think it's like a gun rights advocacy group. I tried to actually go to the FBI website to download the data to see where they got the numbers that it's up. I couldn't get the numbers. So I don't know what you're talking about, but just looking at the graph, it is down 2022 and 2023 and 2024. And
the numbers went up. I believe the recent change was the numbers went down in 2021 and then back up in 2022. And now we have 2023s, or maybe it was they went down in 2022 and up in 2023. But to answer First Amendment's question, go to the National Crime Victimization Survey. That's where you could go.
And I just want to paint this with a little bit broader strokes, even if crime is down right now. Just look at the policy positions of the two candidates. Kamala Harris wants to allow biological men into locker rooms, sports, and restrooms, and female prisons with other real women. And she's allowed an open border where criminals have been pouring across for the last 4 years. And I want you to know that male patterns of violence do not change when a man claims to be a woman. Trans women have the same patterns of male violence as anyone else. And so that is an issue that we need to be talking about, and which the media hasn't been talking about. Is Harris going to continue to allow biological males into women's restrooms in sports? And is she going to continue to allow millions of illegals pouring into our country? Because that will affect the crime rates that are going to occur over the next 4 years.
Let's hand it back over to you, First Amender.
What does that have to do with crime statistics? I'm a little lost on that. Why you don't have to like bring in your transphobia. You could just talk about the crime statistics. Okay, so we see that there's a slight increase after the FBI like decided to show that there's an increase. But you're saying that if that's the case, right? If it goes up a tiny percentage, right? You guys are saying that there's all this rampant crime. From what I'm observing, there's really not all this rampant crime.
Well, I live in Chicago. I live in Chicago.
That's been fed to you.
And there is violence every weekend. There's 40 to 50 people.
Yeah, you're in Chicago. What? You're in a city.
Right. We don't care about right. And what we're saying, our argument is, first off, you're wrong. Your initial perception that you don't see crime is irrelevant. Polling shows that people feel that
but you
crime
don't even trust
is,
the
please,
statistics.
let me finish. Polling proves that people feel that crime is significant. Secondly, I gave you the best statistics, which is the National Crime Victimization Survey. You haven't touched it once. That shows that crime is up.
National Crime Victimization Survey. All I did was bring up the FBI crime statistics, which is a valid source. You said you can't trust it, right? Because it's establishment media. This is what I mean by you cut your ears off and you sewed them shut, so that way you don't have to hear the truth. You don't care about the truth. You're not interested.
You're exhibiting the very. You're exhibiting
Trump. Then you obviously think that that's a bad thing. But if it's in favor of Donald Trump, you think it's the truth.
You're exhibiting the exact behavior you're criticizing me. You gave a set of statistics, which I didn't just say it's mainstream media, I don't believe it. I gave specific reasons to question those statistics. I could give more. Meanwhile, I give you what I'm saying is a better indication of crime, which are people, not just the crimes that police have gone after, which is what the FBI is looking at, crimes that they've investigated, but actually people that have suffered from crime and that are victims. And the National Crime Victimization Survey actually shows that crime is up. Now, other reasons that we shouldn't prefer the FBI numbers, in addition to clearly, even if we say it's not corruption, their methodology is flawed enough that there are significant changes, so much so that in 2022, they initially said crime was down, and now we see that it was 4.5% up.
Yeah,
but also it relied, real quick, I'll finish, real quick, please stop, please stop sewing your ears shut and listen for a second, and maybe you'll understand something. But what we could also see is that these FBI numbers are reliant not just on a flawed methodology, but also in what local police tell them and the crimes that local police are willing to go after. For example, if you see in a place like LA where they stop trying to prosecute shoplifting, then all of a sudden those numbers won't show up on an FBI statistics sheet. So we can see in left-wing controlled cities all across this country that they're allowing violent criminals back on the street, that they're allowing crimes to occur without even attempting to prosecute them anymore. And the last thing I'll say in this issue is when we did see crime spike like in 2020 under Trump, that was being done by Democrats, which you haven't disagreed with, but we could also see that Democrat policies, including those supported by Kamala Harris, who actually promoted a bail fund after these rioters committed an insurrection and burned down a police station, that sort of rhetoric led to what they call the Ferguson effect, which is that police have been demoralized and defunded, which causes increased crime in the very communities, particularly African-American inner city communities like Chicago, that you don't seem to care about.
All right.
So even with, sorry, go ahead.
No, I just I wanted to make sure that we wrapped it up there and just gave you a chance to respond there, First Amender. I know you guys got a lot of energy, but I do want to implore Josh and Classy to jump in at any time and ask you politely to make some space for them. But go ahead there, First Amender.
Apologies. Even if I include your increased revised statistic, increasing it from the 2% to this 4%, it's still lower. And even on top of that, this revised numbers that I'm pulling up, it looks like that while murder has decreased overall, it appears that what has increased isn't murder, but rather hate crime. Hate crime. That's what increased.
Like
They
what kind?
revised the number to include hate crime.
That's not entirely true.
I
don't believe that-
literally just pulled it up in a Reuters
Okay,
article.
so then
Is
how
Reuters
many-
lying? Is
Okay,
Reuters
no,
lying?
no, wait.
Go ahead,
Okay,
is Reuters lying?
okay,
Tell
you're
me.
looking at the data.
Tell
So
me
how
how
many?
Reuters is
Right,
lying.
you're looking at the data. Clearly,
ahead,
you're
tell
an
me how
expert in this.
Reuters
Can you
is
tell me
lying.
how many increased hate crimes there were in 2022? Go ahead. What was the
I
number
don't
that were
freaking
added?
know. I'm just pulling this up on Reuters.
Oh,
I literally just
so-
Google it and then
so
I
wait a minute.
find real information
you're just
from
repeating-
real sources, and I don't cut my ears off, kind of like what you're doing right now.
So what you've admitted was you didn't even know that the FBI
Is
revised
hate
the
crime
statistics.
higher?
Please, what
That's
you
fair.
admitted.
I didn't know that. So
Just
then
1
what I
second
do is
there.
that I Google and I learn it, and then sorry.
Okay, so
Okay,
what you've
no
admitted.
worries. Let's carry on.
What you've admitted was you didn't even know that the FBI revised those statistics, which shows even
That's
if it
correct.
wasn't
I didn't.
intentional.
That's great.
Please,
Thank you for giving me
please,
new information.
Please. The way this works is don't cut your ears off. Listen to when another person is speaking. So you admitted that
All
they
right,
didn't
nobody's
know that
cutting
they.
their ears off. Let's just, like I say,
So
try not
you
to cut each
admitted
other off.
you admitted that you were unaware of this. You admit, at the very least, even if it's not intentional, that it proves that these FBI crime statistics are fallible because they have to readjust. And now you're saying, but I quickly Googled and they said hate crimes are up and everything else is down. My question is then how much are hate crimes up? You're like, I don't know. I just read a headline.
Yeah,
I don't really
have the
understand
exact
that.
numbers off the
Again,
top of my head.
I
What's wrong
repeat,
with
all
you?
of this is non-responsive to the flawed methodology that they stopped going after certain crimes. The fact that we can see the National Crime Victimization Survey continues to say things like assaults of a sexual nature. I know we're not supposed to say the R word, but things like that, murders, etc., are still increasing. And it also doesn't really help your argument if those other types of crimes are going up. For example, many people are furious at property crimes. We can see that in places like Washington, D.C., where staffers used to work or still work for politicians, it used to be relatively safe. Now they're getting carjacked at record numbers. It's so much so that they're basically told, sorry if you got carjacked. It's so expansive now, we can't even remotely begin to investigate this. Now, I just want to make one final point on this. We're hyper-focused on this one issue. Again, our opponents, including Classy, admitted he don't care if there's a recession. Trump's mean tweets and everything, or a depression, I'm sorry. He said Trump's mean tweets means he would vote for that any day. Our opponents are trying to hyperventilate on these minutia details to get away from the fact that the records of Donald Trump when it comes to the economy, when it comes to immigration, and when it comes to not being on the precipice of World War III, were superior. They have no answer to any of this.
Yeah, I'm going to
And I
ask
just
you
want to
again.
say, if
For sure. Let's let Josh in.
if Biden had done a superb job over these last almost 4 years, you can rest assured that Kamala Harris would be intertwining herself with him and linking herself to him. But she's not doing that. And that's because Kamala Harris knows that everything's a disaster right now. And that's why she's trying to extricate herself and divorce herself and her brand and her name from Biden. So her doing that is an indictment on how bad the last 4 years have been under Biden. Don't ask me. Don't ask my esteemed colleague. Ask Kamala Harris. And she would tell you, I don't want anything to do with it. That's essentially what she's saying.
Rob Noor didn't actually answer my question. So even with the revised standards, let me ask you this. Is crime down?
From when? 2021? No. Crime's up.
Yes, it is.
Crime's up from 2020.
It is down.
So you're telling me the FBI...
It's down, yes.
Real quick, I just want to get this clear. You're telling me that the revised FBI statistics, which you have access and you're looking at right now,
Yes.
that the 2021 numbers, that 2023 is lower than 2021?
Yes.
You're wrong.
Are they including the crime of crossing our border illegally? Because there's about 10 more million you need to add to that.
Okay, yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and add that.
Oh, you don't care? It's not important
I'm
to
telling you, it's down. I'm pulling up violent crime. It's down. It's
But
down.
do those metrics and do those numbers include illegal crossings at our southern border?
I have no idea. I
right,
have no
we
idea.
can
I'm
find
going to
that
look
out.
up the FBI crime statistics.
Well,
But
I
if
would
you
think it would
really,
be
really
important.
want, like, honestly, at the
Fairly
end of the day,
ubiquitous
what I
crime.
would probably argue in favor for is simple amnesty policies. So that way we actually know who's coming into the country and that we don't take advantage of illegal immigrants basically paying their social security taxes with a fake social security number and then not being able to collect FICA and all of the, I'm sorry, not being able to collect their own social security or if they ever get hurt on the job, right? We're talking about people that genuinely want to work. It's ridiculous, but that's beyond the point.
We got to hand
Crime's
the
down.
ball.
I can answer that, but I would real quick like to answer. So I will get the exact specific numbers, but looking at the FBI's graph that they put out, we can see that the crime they listed was actually around 1.19 million in 2021. That number is about 1.21 million in 2023. You have lied. You have directly lied. The numbers show, the actual revised FBI numbers show that crime increased from 2021 to 2022, and it's increased from 2021 to 2023 as well. You have lied. You have misled people. You claim that MAGA is not interested in truth and people like me are not opening our ears and listening, and you are blatantly lying to the audience. I asked you specifically if you were saying that the numbers in 2023 were lower than 2021, and you repeatedly said yes. So one, the FBI statistics have been changed. Second, for the reasons I said, we should not look at that as the preferred metric because it only relies on crimes that police are trying to solve. Third, we can see that the National Crime Victimization Survey actually shows that these things are occurring more, including violent crime like murder. And fourth, you are directly lying to the people. And, to answer, if you would like me to answer,
down.
if
the revised statistics.
Crime is not down. Crime is up in
Yeah, it is.
2023. So you're disputing the graph that I put up from the FBI. You're disputing
It's
it.
literally down. I showed it for everybody to see. It's right there.
You
Again,
did
they
not.
cut
Bring up
their
the source.
ears off.
Bring
They
up the
will not
source.
hear it.
You're saying crime in general is down from
Literally,
2023 to
the
2021. Bring up the source.
CDCRJS.gov. It's the FBI Crime Data Explorer. I literally pulled
Bring
it
up the source. Let
It's
me see
right
it again.
there.
Let me see it again.
All right, here we go.
I just want to be clear. What you're
All right,
saying
I
is
want
that
you to show,
you-
right? I want you to tell me with a straight face, crime is up.
Let me
Go ahead.
read. Let
Tell
me
me.
read what you
Tell me
have.
how crime
That
is up.
says that crime is down since what? When's
last
that
year.
from? It's down 3% since when?
Last year.
Since last year. Was last year
Yeah.
2021?
No.
So when I asked you from 2021,
You
has
think
crime
COVID
gone up?
might have something to do
Wait,
with
wait. Let
2021
me finish.
crime
Let me
statistics?
finish my question. As you're trying to gaslight your audience, when
This is
I asked you
ridiculous.
specifically,
It's down.
When
I
I
need
asked
you
you,
to just
please
say
let me
it's
finish.
down.
When I
It's
asked
down.
you,
We know it's
please
down.
let me finish. Notice how he
Stop
filibusters.
cherry picking data.
Notice the
You need
attempt-
to
notice
say
how
that
he's-
it's down.
Notice
It's
how
down.
he's filibustering.
We know it's
All right,
down.
we're gonna give
What's
Rob.
happening?
We're gonna give Rob 10 seconds just to put a bow
10
on it, and then
seconds.
I'll hand it back.
Bow. Like he's blatantly
Well,
lying.
we
So he
can't.
changed. I said crime's up since 2021.
It's down.
I'm clearly not
It's
getting my 10
down. I
seconds as he's
showed it.
going back, James, to the filibuster tactering, which I said that
It's
he would
not
do. So
filibustering.
I
I'm
asked
holding your feet to the
specifically, I'll
fire.
just
It's
talk. I
down.
assure you I could talk over you and louder than you, faster than you, more
I'm sure you
intelligently
could.
than you. So
It's
if
down.
the moderator is not going to allow me to talk without you interrupting me, then I'll talk over you. That's no
Well, I can
problem
start.
on my
I can
part.
start. Employing those mutes. If,
All I'm
you're having
asking you is to
difficult-
just tell him, let me get my point out. So the point I was making, I asked specifically,
Get
are
your
you
point
saying
out.
that crime is down from 2021 according to the,
crazy.
he's again talking over me. I asked him specifically if crime was down from 2021 to 2023. He answered in the affirmative. Then he provides statistics that say that crime is down from 2022 to 2023. I
because
gave
I'm not
the actual
cherry-picking
data that showed
statistics.
that crime is up. My chart, and I've never disputed that from 2022 to 2023 that there was a slight decrease. That is true. What I said was from 2021, the FBI numbers showed that it's
down
up.
even from
He
2021.
lied to his audience. He lied to all of us as the data
just
shows.
down
And then
overall.
when then when it's pointed out, he then says, "Well, do you think COVID had something to do with it?" Because he knows he's
That's
wrong.
correct.
Will you
'Cause
admit?
crime goes
will
up when
you?
people all
I'll
of a
answer
sudden
a simple
don't have
yes, no
basic
will suffice.
necessities met.
A simple
Yes.
yes, no will suffice, and you could then expound on it if you
I
want.
just
Will
can't
you
stand
admit?
the lying.
Will you admit that crime is up in 2023 based on these numbers
I'm
compared
not
to
going to
2021?
abide by your cherry picking statistics.
is-
Crime is
All
down.
right, we've definitely hit a wall there, fellas. There's no point to carry on with this back and forth as far as we've hit at this point. So.